and welcome to today's Pick a Card reading. I'm Sugar Kitty Mystic, and this tarot reading is your emotional blind spot. So we're going to look at what you can't see currently about yourself, especially in the emotional world, and how you can kind of overcome this to improve or benefit your life. So we have two piles for you to pick from today, and two cards to represent each pile. So for pile 1, we have the card number 1 of the Blind Spot Oracle deck. So take a look at this card, see if it's drawing you in or if your intuition feels connected to it in any way. This is pile 1. And then for pile 2, we have number 28. Okay, so again, take a moment to really take in the energy of this card. See if it is drawing you. Okay. And when you're ready, simply click on the timestamp in the description box to go to your reading, and I will see you there. Okay, so hello and welcome, pile 1. If you picked this sigil, you are in the right place. So I'm going to hold the sigil while I talk about it, because these cards contain the energy of their message, and by taking in the symbol on the card, it can help your intuitive body to take in the message that this card has for you. So this sigil represents your fear. If you have drawn this sigil, this means that you are sabotaging your life or something in your life because of a perceived threat. Okay, this is not telling you that the threat is real or that you're missing something in the situation in front of you. The problem, the blind spot, is fully your fear. Okay, and you know, fear can stop us from living life. It can stop us from doing so many important things in this world. It can stop us from taking risks. It can really hold us back. So I feel like you're being held back on a very visceral level right now. And what's important for you is to caretake the fear. Look after the part of you that is afraid and kind of find out why. So we have some more cards here to dive a little bit deeper regarding your fear. As for the major arcana, you have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, the Knight of Swords, and the 6 of Pentacles. So what you're really afraid of right now are dealing with is the fear of loss, okay? The fear of something or everything being taken away from you. I'm feeling like you're trying to control this situation and control your fear by making really quick plans of action, trying to stay on top of everything. However, what that's doing is it's avoiding and running away from the actual root of the problem. The root of the problem is not loss. The root of the problem is fear. Does that make sense so far? So this is the Knight of Swords here. The Knight of Swords makes a lot of mistakes with his plans. He is too quick. Okay, he's trying too hard to figure everything out right away and charge into the situation. So if that's what you're doing right now, this is kind of like your sign to take a step back, slow down, and caretake your fear. Figure out where it is coming from and what you can do to lovingly embrace the part of you that is afraid. You also have the 6 of Pentacles here, so I feel like you are someone who has to provide for other people or who has to give to the people around you. This could be, you know, providing for children. It could be providing for an older relative. You have a lot of weight on your shoulders. There are people who depend on you. There are people who rely on you, and you're trying to keep it all together for them. Okay? So let me know if this is resonating so far for you in the comments. We also have the Threshold and we have the Mentor. So I feel like fear for you right now is actually meant to be a teacher. It's here to show you something important and valuable. You are on the threshold of a new way of life. You are on the threshold of potentially a more secure or prosperous way of being. And I feel like this is why the fear is kicking in. Sometimes right before things get better, our nervous system gets all triggered and we get stressed and we get upset and we sabotage and we make fights with the people around us, or we look for things to be scared of, or we look for negative situations. You're on the threshold of some actually really positive things, but it's an intense place to be. You can feel the change coming, and this could be why you have gone into that energy of fear. So we're going to pull some oracle cards to see what you can do to overcome this fear. Maybe a couple tarot too. I'm not really sure, but we're going to start with oracle. So we're going to use these because these are very action-powered cards. What can you do to overcome this fear? Fight for what you want. Very straightforward. Like I said, this deck is very straightforward. It's not meant to be confusing or overly cryptic. Okay, so you have Shaka Zulu, which is a fierce African warrior, fight for what you want, and Zeus, wrath is righteous. If there is someone or something who has been doing you wrong in this situation, someone who has been taking advantage of you, treating you poorly, now is the time to stand your ground and actually call people out. Okay? With wrath is righteous, these are very like strong cards. These are cards like Zeus is an extremely powerful god in the Greek mythology, but he's also a god of like intense vengeance. So I'm not saying you should take vengeance against the person, but you should call them out. You should have a conversation. If this is a specific person, or potentially, you know, it could be a situation with work, or it could be a situation with like a corporation. Call them out, talk to them directly, face this situation head on, okay? Make space for your fear. You don't have to like push through or bulldoze the part of you that is afraid, but I feel like you really need to honor yourself and honor your boundaries by actually clearly and directly telling someone off, or telling the situation at hand off, okay? We're going to pull some more cards. I'm kind of deciding what would be the best deck. Let's do this one. Okay. Maybe some ancestor cards too. Ancestor energy is like really ripe in the universe right now. Okay, let's see. What can you do to overcome this blind spot? Repairing the veil and forgiveness. So I feel like you are really in a space where you cannot forgive either this person that you're dealing with or the situation without first addressing it. Okay, so you may be trying to avoid it or go around it, and in that way you are stuffing those feelings down and keeping them inside of you. So you need to both stand up for yourself and then get into a place where you can forgive. Also, this is just such a beautiful card. I don't even know what's happening here. It's like a pillar. There's like sewing occurring. It's just very pretty. But yeah, you ultimately need to get into a place of forgiveness. So for some of you, you are dealing with a certain person. For others, it's a situation where maybe you feel like the universe did you wrong, or God, and you need to have a moment where you yell at God, where you express your anger, where you express your disappointment, so that you can forgive, so that you can get over these really charged emotions. If you are feeling anger, remember that anger is the cover for fear, right? Bringing us back to your sigil. So finding out where that vulnerability is and what you can do to look after it. We're going to pull some ancestor cards and then maybe a few more tarot, and that's it. So let's see, how can you overcome this emotional blind spot? the Spirit of Family, and the Hunter of Honor. Okay, so you need to honor your feelings. You really need to honor yourself, what's important to you, what's happened to you, and how that has created this fear, okay? If there's past traumas, if there's past hurt, it makes sense to be afraid, okay? So you need to honor that part of yourself. And with the Spirit of Family, there is someone in your family, or your friend family, for those of you who aren't especially close with your family, there's someone in your family who can really be relied on for guidance in this situation, who you can lean on, who you can go to. You know, you can tell them, like, you know you're really afraid, you know you have to do something to stand up for yourself, but you're just having a hard time with it. They will look after you. They will caretake you in this moment. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. They can support you, okay? Your family can really support you at this time. Being honest with them, open with them. Lots of like deer and antelope energy, so I don't know if the deer spirit animal means something to you at this time. It might. Okay, so we have the High Priestess. Okay, so what is your intuition telling you right now? I feel like if you're watching this reading, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, you know the exact situation. You may have been avoiding this fear, running away from this fear, but now that you've seen these cards, I'm sure you know. So what is your intuition asking you to do? What are you feeling pulled to or called to? You know, what does your heart say? If you're really struggling with intuition, a beautiful way to connect to that is to place your hands, both hands, over your heart. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and just be like, what should I do? What do you need? What does my heart need? Speak to your heart. Allow your heart to guide you. Intuition is not from the head, right? Intuition is from the body. And so if you are struggling with it, try something like that. It's really useful. We have Six of Wands. So I feel like you will have victory here. Okay? If you actually fight for it, if you stand up, if you do the things that you need to do, you will be victorious. This situation that you are afraid of is not as scary as it seems. You can easily come up on top. Okay? The Six of Cards is a very good card to get when you're dealing with fear, because it means success. It means winning. It means public recognition. You may have people on your side, okay, that support you, whatever this is that you're dealing with. I'm going to put one more card, and then I feel like we've kind of gone through everything that's needed. And we have the Three of Swords. Okay, so I feel like you may have had some grief in the past, some really deep hurt or wounds that are causing this fear, right? And you're afraid of experiencing that again. You're afraid of going through this grief again. You're afraid of being hurt. I mean, who isn't? This is like the most natural human thing in the world, to be afraid of being hurt, right? But when you have this card, like, the situation is not as bad as it seems. Your fear is the worst thing about the situation. So that's a pretty good place to be in. And that doesn't mean to, like, hate your fear or argue with your fear. Accept it, appreciate it. It's there for a reason. But the situation is not as bad as it seems. So let me know if this resonated for you, Pile 1. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you ever want a private reading from me, the link is in the description box below. I'm also creating a lot of, like, articles on my website for those of you who want to learn how to read tarot more and kind of add depth to your own readings. Those are completely free. Just something I'm working on. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to your reading, Pile 3. If you picked this sigil, number 28, then you are in the right place. I'm going to hold the sigil while I talk about it because this symbol represents the energy of the card. And by taking in this symbol, your intuitive body, your intuitive being, downloads the message that it has for you. So while I speak about it, I'm just going to hold it for you to kind of get that extra layer. So 28 is all about triangulation. Many people have not heard of the concept of triangulation before. However, it is so rampant in our society, it's actually insane. So triangulation is when you or someone close to you has a problem with another person, and rather than talk directly with that other person, they go to someone else. So say, I have a problem with a friend of mine, it's really bothering me, and I can't address her for whatever reason. Maybe I'm scared or I'm nervous about it, so I go to my sister, and I tell my sister fully my side of the story. I'm totally the victim. The friend is totally just the perpetrator. They're hurting me. It's completely one-sided. None of my responsibility is taken into account. And then my sister, okay, over here, this is why you have so many triangulations, or triangles. It'll make sense in a second. And then my sister over here, she, to maintain close with me, she will add on to that and start reaffirming how bad my friend is for hurting me and all the stuff she did wrong. And she will totally agree with my one-sided perception. And so rather than deal with the situation head on, which likely involves two sides to the story, we will sit over here and we will talk like crazy about just my side, and I will get fully entrenched in the feeling of being right and justified and correct in whatever I did. My sister and I will feel close because people bond really easy through talking negatively about someone else, unfortunately. And meanwhile, the problem with this person will not get resolved. Instead, it will actually get bigger, okay? Because now there's more distance between me and them. Now there's more of a divide than just the original issue. Okay? So triangulation is super dangerous. And this card can show up because you are triangulating someone, or you're participating in triangulation with someone, or someone is triangulating you. Now, in triangulation, it's really a horrible dynamic to be in because it puts people in the position of victim, evil person, and savior, right? In the example I gave you, my sister would have been the one saving me and looking after me. I would have been making myself the victim, and this person is the evil, horrible person who hurt me. Okay, so it's really important to deal with our problems directly. It's so much easier. It's so much simpler, and this is like a web. Okay, this is a horrible, awful web to be caught into. When you're triangulating someone, chances are you're going to also be triangulated. When you're being triangulated, chances are you're going to start triangulating too. Like, it just creates such a shady cesspool of energy. Okay, so the situation at hand is triangulation. So pay attention to this and try to figure out, because it's a blind spot, try to figure out if it's you that's triangulating, okay? Maybe you're the savior in the situation who is jumping in and you're helping someone else avoid their problems by talking to you about them instead of the person. Or you're the one who is being triangulated as the villain. Okay? And the solution to all of these scenarios is directness. So if you know that it's really that you are being triangulated as the victim, or sorry, as the villain, and there are other people over here talking about you and making you out to be the bad guy, you need to go directly to the person that has a problem with you, and you need to get to the bottom of it. Okay, you need to be willing to get to the bottom of it. That's the only way to make triangulation stop. If you're the one doing it, similar situation, you need to go directly to the person you have a problem with, the person you're making out to be a bad guy, and you need to tell them, hey, these are my feelings, this is how I'm hurt, let's talk about it. Now, if you are the hero, okay, which is a really nice position to be in, honestly, because you just get to hear the juicy gossip. And you get to be like the best friend ever to the person who is talking to you because you're fully on their side. If you're the hero, whatever you can do to not increase the negative talk about the other person and to guide your friend or your family member back to dealing with their problem, like you just want to nip this in the bud however you can. Okay, I was caught in a situation where I was the hero like 2 or 3 years ago when I first learned about triangulation with a friend of mine. And when I finally figured out what we were doing and I started being like, okay, have you told this person about it? Have you told him about it? Have you talked to him? Have you told him about it? Eventually, my friend actually solved her problem. And they actually like fixed their relationship and they figured out what they needed and it was no longer an issue. It takes so much mental and emotional energy to continue this pattern, and being direct, while it's intimidating, is actually way fucking easier. Sorry for swearing. So we'll look a little bit deeper into how this situation is showing up in your life. Hopefully you don't mind that kind of like lengthy explanation. I get kind of excited about triangulation. But yeah, this is what this card means. Okay, so now let's look at more details about how this situation is going in your life. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like you are trying to move on from a past situation. You're trying to move into like a new beginning or a new future. With this Ten of Swords in reverse is very much about moving on, letting the past go. And you're really struggling with that. Okay, and you're struggling with that because of this triangulation dynamic. Whichever triangle you are on this map, wherever you fall into it, it's holding you in a position where you can't move forward. Okay, and I feel like you are not being fair. We have the Justice card, and because of that, like, you're not being treated fairly. Okay, you're just caught in this turbulent ball of shit. I could probably use better words here. Right? And it's keeping you really stuck. There's like this beautiful new beginning trying to come in for you with the Wheel of Fortune. And your mind is so focused on the past and so stuck with all of these problems that are getting blown out of proportion. Right? Because that's what happens. You take a small little thing and it becomes huge because now all these other people are involved. Right? And when you're triangulating or someone is triangulating to you, it like causes more triangulation. So there's just a lot of unfairness going on. A lot of things being said that shouldn't really be said. And frankly, there's a need to bridge this gap here. Okay? If you want to move forward, you need to bridge the gap that is occurring. Whatever position you are, whether you're the hero, the villain, that's the word, or the victim, you need to find a way to bridge the gap with the other people, and then you can move forward. And I feel like, too, you have the Nectar card, and the Nectar is all about, like, enjoyment and pleasure and sensuality, like eating something really delicious and just being fully present in the tastes of that moment. And this is keeping you from this presence. There's so much beauty for you, Pile 2, in this reading with the Wheel of Fortune and the Nectar card. Like, there's so many good things that you could be fully absorbed in your life right now. And this triangulation is really holding you back. So let me know what position in the triangle you're in. I'm going to pull some other cards to get some more info for you. But I've been in all three. I've been the victim, I've been the villain, I've been the hero. I think we all have. It's really a natural thing that humans do. It's just so dysfunctional. Okay? But like I said, I'm not perfect. I've been in this situation on all sides of the coin. And I still think about it to this day when something happens. Resonating. Very interesting. So to overcome this pattern, how can you resonate with each person in the triangle? How can you resonate with the victim? How can you resonate with the villain? And how can you resonate with the hero? Remember, the victim is the villain on the other side of the story. And the villain is the victim, especially of this triangulation. So it's very important to understand that very rarely is it fully someone's fault when there's conflict. There's always more moving pieces. There's always more going on. So how can you resonate with each individual in this reading or in this situation? Also, this card is so beautiful. Whale song. You know, whales are like so wise. And I'm from Canada, right? So there's a lot of like natives here. And among the like indigenous tribes, whales are the ancestors. Ancestors that are like chiefs or really powerful members of the tribe, they reincarnate or they come back as whales. So they're thought to be like really wise. They get along with like hundreds, thousands of groups of whales. Whales swim in like huge groups, right? So how can you create some harmony? How can you embrace this like gentle, giant energy of the whale and be the one to end this triangle? And if you don't want to end it right away, if you have some resistance to that, baby steps, right? You could take baby steps. Dancer of life. Dancer of frustration. Okay. There is a cycle in your life that needs to come to a close. You have moved past something. Okay? You are in a next phase of your life and you need to let this stuff go. This is causing so much frustration that is just unnecessary. It's getting in the way of your ability to truly enjoy life. And well, it honestly does feel good to triangulate. There's a reason we do it. It feels good. Okay? It's holding you back. It's holding you back. The cycle has ended and you kind of just need to figure out how to move on, how to deal with this directly so you can move on. We're going to pull, oh yeah, I'm going to do some tarot too. So we'll pull some of these and then some tarot cards. Let's see, how can you overcome this cycle? The next step is obvious. I love this card. You know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly what you need to do. This is a blind spot, so maybe you didn't know this was the exact situation, but now that you've heard me talk about it, you can see very clearly what you need to do. The next step is obvious. This card shows up when it's like, it's obvious. Okay? I'm going to pull some tarot and then we'll wrap it up. You also got Zeus, wrath is righteous. Okay? Zeus gets into a lot of conflict, okay? The Greek god Zeus, in the stories of him, he gets into a lot of conflict. He causes a lot of chaos, right? But the thing about Zeus is he is incredibly direct. When he has a problem with someone, it is right to that person. It is shooting lightning bolts directly at that person. So here your lightning bolts are, you know, your words, your feelings. It's expressing yourself and giving them the chance to express themselves too, right? It requires a certain level of emotional maturity to do that, but I believe you have that. If you're watching this reading, I'm sure you can do that. No problem. So let's see what the tarot has for you. We have the Eight of Wands. Okay, things in your life are going to change really fast when you fix this situation. We have the Death. Again, cycles are ending. You will literally, like, be transformed in, like, multiple areas of your life when you can get out of triangulation. This is what I'm seeing for you specifically. This is life-changing for you. And the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is the master of the Cups energy, which is water, which is our emotional world, our intuitive world. So like I said, I feel like you, pile 2, have the emotional maturity to fix this situation. I feel like you have the emotional maturity required to deal with it directly, to face it head on, to take responsibility for your part, whatever your part may be. So good for you. Good luck. Like I said, the next step is obvious. Just go do it. Okay, don't stop yourself any longer. Get out of this pattern. This pattern is treacherous. It's just not good to be in. If you're triangulating other people, you rest assured you're going to get triangulated back. So just be warned. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if this resonates with you in the comment section below. If you ever want a personal reading from me, the link is always in the description box. Also, I've started creating articles on my website for those of you that want to learn how to read tarot cards for yourself or are interested in kind of bringing this practice into your own life. They're completely free. It's just something I've kind of been working on lately, so you can always check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Goodbye.